everybody. As promised, here's 2 more builds for the upcoming Necropolis League. Coming up first is the Fire Trap Elementalist. This is the build I used for the Zizzaran's Misery Gauntlet this league, and it worked absolutely fantastic. Main reason being is it dishes out so much damage you're able to pretty much stack auras, whatever defenses you need to get yourself all your watchstones, everything you need to do, and then the Gauntlet got me to level 90. It's very similar power-wise to Detonate Dead. Obviously, Detonate Dead's going to scale a little bit higher due to corpse life, but if you're like me and you really hate using Detonate Dead, Fire Trap might be for you. Frostblink allows for very smooth map clearing. So let's get to it. This is kind of what the end game skill tree is going to look like here. This is pinnacle boss settings, dishing out about 3.2 million damage. This is not using the best gear. There's lots of potential to up this damage significantly, but it's quite tanky, as you can see. So what we're doing is we're frost blinking through mobs, laying down traps, anything your frost blink doesn't kill. It's that easy. Let's get to the leveling stage. If you've been watching my videos earlier, you should know I always make sure I have item sets for you guys. So just make sure you select the early leveling stage if you're new to the game. And this is how I'm going to level it. So what I'd like to do is use Freezing Pulse with Elemental Proliferation. This is going to freeze everything in the early campaign. Just makes it really, really easy, especially if you're new to the game. Everything in your path is going to be frozen. Make sure you have some defenses. Get some res on your gear if you can. When you hit towards Mervale, grab yourself a cold resistance ring from the vendor if you haven't found one on the ground already. Molten Rolling Magma is going to dish out a lot of single target damage, so use this on Brutus and any bosses along with your Freezing Pulse and your Frost Bomb. Frost Blink. Frost Bomb's a lot of raw damage on its own, so I like to use that a lot of times leveling. And how I like to level it is just come up this way here. And I grab these practical application almost right away because it just gets rid of my strength and dexterity problems being a witch. Then I come up this way. And that's about when you're heading into Act 2. This is when you can switch straight over to Fire Trap if you want, or you can keep playing Rolling Magma. Because we're playing a Fire Trap build, I'm just going to show you how to level it, how I like it with Fire Trap. Heading into mid-campaign, we're going to switch over to that skill set. And here we go. So we got Fire Trap, Trap Mind Damage, Combustion Efficacy. This is very important. I mean, you might not have a 4-link, obviously, so realistically turn one of those off. Main thing is that you have Summoned Skitterbots, Herald of Ash. That's what's going to give you your damage. Heading into Act 3. Once you get to Act 3, you should be able to run Determination along with a damage aura like Skitterbots or Herald of Ash. So you'll grab this, and then you can come over this way, grabbing this damage over time here. This is going to give you some serious ignites, especially once you hit your first ascendancy, which you're going to take Shaper of Flames. Then I like to come this way. You can also come this way and grab this fire damage wheel here. Whichever you prefer. I personally like to go this way because there's some fire resistance here, which can be very helpful in the campaign leveling. And also, I like to swing down here for this juicy 50% elemental damage and another juicy 10% life. This is how I like to do it. And then I get the mana reservation, of course. So this is looking really nice heading towards First Catava. Heading into the second half of the campaign, I usually like to swing down this way because I'm going to need some spell suppression towards the end. Also, mana starts to become an issue, so Eldritch Battery is a must. Melding helps with the energy shield a lot, as you gain 3% of maximum life as maximum energy shield. That's going to allow you to run an aura on Divine Blessing. Come down this way, grab the spell suppression wheel. You can grab an additional curse, you can grab more auras here. But I personally like to head down this way towards more spell suppression and the Charisma aura. This is typically where I'm going to finish off the campaign and heading into early maps with my Fire Trap build. Don't forget about your masteries, very important. plus 50 to life, things like that. And don't forget to use Wave of Conviction for exposure. As you can see, I made it very obvious in the POP. Heading into early mapping, let's take a look at the item sets and the skill gems. As you can see, it's completely empty because it's the exact same as your end game. Makes it very simple. But your early gear is very easy to craft. I'm going to go over that with you quickly here before we head into the next build. So this wand here, I got some spell damage, fire damage, damage over time multiplier. This is easily craftable with essences or your harvest bench. All you're going to do is use fire damage essences or your harvest bench spamming fire damage. That's it. Keep doing it on a void scepter until you get a decent roll. Supreme Spike Shield with spell suppression. This is very easy if you're doing expedition. You just simply use ROG. If you want to harvest craft it, you just spam the defenses craft on the harvest bench. Might take you quite a few tries to get something anywhere close to this, but if you're in Trade League, you could just trade for something like this for a couple of Chaos Orbs. At the start of the league, something like this might be going for 5 to 10 Chaos Orbs. Don't worry about getting it perfect. Anything close to this is fine. For your helmet, again, you just need that spell suppression, life, and whatever resistances you're looking for, along with some energy shields so you can run your Divine Blessing aura. Don't worry about it too much. Use Trade League. Use your harvest bench, once again with defenses, resistances if you need them, or essences work perfectly. If you need resistances, essences are great because they guarantee the resistance that you're looking for. If you need spell suppression, harvest bench works quite well if you're spamming defense. Gloves, same things. Boots, same rules apply, except make sure you have movement speed. Again, if you're in Trade League, these are quite easy to find. For your your amulet, obviously you need strength and dexterity being a witch, so make sure it's a citrine amulet. Anoint yourself with Entrench. If you can't anoint Entrench, there's a much cheaper anointment down here, which is Intuition. Another one here, Intervate. That's the expensive one. Entrench is the one I was thinking of, but there's also another one here called Intuition. This one gives you some life, so whatever you need. Coming to your rings, you're going to want to grab an amethyst ring. If you're fresh out of the campaign, you can just grab one from the vendor, spam it with alchemy orbs, get something close to this. Use the trade site if you have to. Run heist, league mechanic of your choice. These aren't too hard to find. Same rules apply for the ring. Stygian Vice is a Trade League thing. You're going to have to run Abyss, and if you're in Solo Self-Found, you're not doing any of that sorts, then just simply use a heavy belt to get the strength that you need. And that just about does it. When you're hitting end game, just make sure this build, one thing I can tell you about is it doesn't have any regeneration whatsoever. So if you're struggling with life regen, or you're playing hardcore, you might want to throw a vitality aura in here somewhere. I personally quite used to just using my life flask a lot and not taking damage, trying to dodge a lot. It's quite tanky once you're in end game. Let me switch you over just to show you. Oh, my skill trees though. That's what's going on. As you can see, over 40,000 max hit, over 60,000 elemental. This chaos should be higher, but it's good enough. And this is on pinnacle boss settings. So again, but if you need that life regeneration, just run vitality. You might even have to do it on arrogance, try to make some room for it, or get some regeneration on your gear. That's the one weakness of this build, for sure. Other than that, it just about does everything well. Let's get on to the next build, guys. Good luck. Alright guys, up next is the Glacial Hammer Juggernaut. Glacial Hammer is a very underrated skill in this game. Like, I personally love it. I've played on Raider, Berserker, Juggernaut. It's quite incredible. It's very similar to Bone Shatter, except you freeze the crap out of everything. So let's get to it. As you can see at the end game pinnacle boss settings, it's quite tanky, while also dishing out a considerable amount of damage. And this is depending on how many trauma stacks you have. It's easy to get quite over 50 on this build and sustain it no problem without killing yourself. So this number can be significantly higher. Anyway, the strengths of this build rely on Rage and Berserk. So when you're mapping, you're going to be using Warlord's Mark to generate Rage, along with Berserk to make sure you're clearing maps with ease. When you're bossing, you definitely might want to switch over to Frost Bomb setup along with Frostbite to maximize your damage. But when you're mapping, going Berserk is just the way to go. Trust me. Anyway, let's get to the leveling stage of it. What you're gonna do if you're in Trade League is use the Rimsor gloves. This is gonna convert all your physical damage to cold. If you're not in Trade League, you probably don't need my advice on how to level your character. This time, guys, I'm a little bit strapped for time because I've been working. I didn't have enough time to put in the items and skills for the leveling stages on this build, so please forgive me for that. But I'm going to do my best here to guide you through it quickly. Those of you who are hardcore and solo self-found players should be fine leveling it up on your own. But I'm going to do my best here, so bear with me, guys. Use Rimsor gloves. We're going to use Spectral Helix, just like the Bone Shatter version. If you didn't watch my last video and you're a bit confused, refer to that if you need some help leveling this up. You're going to come this way to make sure you got enough life to stay alive. And here's some resistances, which makes the campaign a breeze. Then what we're going to do is come straight across here, getting rid of your armor penalty, grabbing yourself some attack damage leeches mana, which should help a lot with your mana issues, and grabbing this cold damage wheel here. This puts you around your first ascendancy. Now from here you could straight up switch over to Glacial Hammer if you like, but if you'd like to keep going with Helix, what I'd recommend is using a two-handed weapon along with Rimsoros, and you'll be dishing out an absolutely ton of damage, and the campaign should feel quite smooth. Make sure you get a little bit of accuracy, some aura reservation here, accuracy here if you need it, intelligence and dexterity if you need it there. That could be very, very helpful. And this is a pretty good path to go on. Again, if you're confused, refer back to my Bone Shatter video and it should give you a pretty good idea on how to level an attack skill similar to this. The only difference here is we're using Rimsor to convert our damage to cold instead of using Glacial Hammer. If you want to level straight with Glacial Hammer from the get-go, you're going to do the exact same thing. Come this way, grab your resistances if you need and you want. But instead of grabbing two-handed damage, you're going to go straight for strike skills, getting the splash damage, and the non-veil strike skills target additional enemy. This is going to make your clear go very, very good. Now this could be a bit tough on you guys if you're new to melee, but Glacial Hammer is very doable from start to finish, no doubt about it. You're going to come this way after that, come down here, you can grab these mace damage, gives you some attack speed. This is a really, really, really good, effective way to level with Glacial Hammer right from the get-go. Coming straight up this way, grabbing more spell suppression, elemental damage, movement speed here. This is an excellent setup if you're going for Glacial Hammer and for Spectral Helix. It just depends if you're using one or two-handed weapon. If you want to go Helix two-handed, you're going to grab these. Rimsoros are going to convert it. If you're playing solo self-hand, obviously you might not have access to Rimsoro, so you're probably going to want to go this with the Glacial Hammer route. If you're going Spectral Helix, obviously don't take the strike skills. Just scale the cold damage. So I'm going to leave it up to you guys there. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the guides. I hope my audio has been getting better, guys. I've been working on that, and I appreciate your support. You all have a great league start. I wish you well. I'll have some more videos coming on the weekend. Any questions, please ask. And if you have any build requests, feel free to shoot me a message, and I'll do my best to make you a guide for the build you're looking for. Take care, everybody.